Righto, it's been a long day out in the shed today, at the barn. It's been a family affair. We've had Riley, Samantha, myself, and like everything in life, I was chasing up a few bits and pieces, and in one particular thing I was chasing was my stock of CPI leads. Now, you might say that can't be that hard. And no, it is. it's a big mess trying to find things at times. Anyway, let's have a look at this CPI CP2000 base. This is one of the cleanest ones that we've got. One of the ways to tell when you're looking at a CPI base, just exactly what sort of condition it's in. Generally have a look at the knobs here on the front. Now, you might say to me, yay, anyone can swap knobs over. Well, that's 100% true. Absolutely. But this one hasn't had knobs swapped over. And it's very, very clean. And you generally have a bit of a look, and you sort of start having a bit of a look around, and you think, yeah, look, it's looking very, very clean for its age. Speaker grills are always another area to keep an eye on. I can always tell when someone's repainted a speaker grill. This is, yes, one of the cleanest ones that I've got. And there's actually two that I would say are very much on a par. And this certainly is one of them. And I thought we'd just do a bit of a video just to show you, why one CPI might sell for X amount of dollars and why another CPI will sell for a staggering amount more. And it's little bits to the collector's eye that catches the detail and specifically these knobs. Now I want to just show you. I'll just run over to one that has got some bad knobs. Let's just see what we've got sitting there. Got a few CPIs on the other side. Hang on. So I've just grabbed a CPI 300. Now the CPI 300 23 channel radio is definitely a few years older. So it's going to have a little bit more wear and tear on it if it's been out there being used. But I bet you can see straight away what I'm talking about. Majority of CPIs have got, unfortunately, a fairly yellow sort of look to their knobs and bits and their dials. It's a pain. Look, some of them we've been able to clean up a little, but I don't want to give you false hope on some of these knobs cleaning up that well. The ones that are just cigarette smoke, we've had a bit of success. We have never got them back to looking like that. That just never happens. Now, I was reading an article about some products that are supposed to be able to bring things back to white. I haven't had a chance to try them yet, so it's been a bit of a a thing that we've got on the agenda. You can't even buy the product at the moment with all this COVID-19. There's shortage of acetone and quite a few things. Anyway, but that just gives you that, you really can see. Actually, that's probably the best view that you're going to get to be able to go. Here we've got these beautiful, pristine, like it came out of the, the showroom floor. And then you've got years and years of usage. And as I said, sometimes in some of the models, that's the best you're going to get. There is just... it's very hard to find this type of stuff here. So that's what we're carrying on about when we sort of start saying, one CPI is definitely very different to another. Now, I've had a lot of years of experience on CPIs, and I've got to tell you, they're not a difficult radio to tune. They're just one that you follow the rules, and but not a difficult job for me to get these things really percolating well. Just an example of that's the receiver. I'll just put about, let's have a look. Alright, so there's 0.5 of a microvolt. So at the moment, let's turn that volume up. That 0.5 of a microvolt is just stunning. This is very typical of a CPI receiver. They are great. Watch this. I'm going to bring that about 0.7. I can still hear that in the background at 0.7. Which is amazing. That's about 0.2, so we go 0.5. Let's go up one and back a little bit, that's better. Oh, it's about 0.55, I'll just vary that just a little bit. But as you can see, at 0.5 a microvolt, so noise free. I mean, that's the thing about these receivers on these. They are just fantastic. Really something that for the time, for the the date that these were made and the era as such, they were lightning hot. Sort of, as you can see, putting about 50. And we're getting pretty harsh there. Putting a lot of signal into that. Okay, so basically you can see that yes, these things do have magnificent receivers for a radio that's probably around about 40 plus years old, and design. I've been inside these things quite a bit. They're a really good design. They're a little bit harsh as far as when you've got to access different areas. Say you get a selector problem, or you've actually got to pull the whole stack of boards out to get that selector out. And there's lots of things that you learn over time, but they are good. They're very, very good at what they do. Okay, so let's just have a look at the transmit. We should have around about 12 watts on this. We don't go too crazy on them. 1, 2, 3, hard. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're not trying to go crazy, getting massive output on them. Probably about 5 watts output at a rough guess, I suppose. 5.7. Once again, around the mark. Sort of. We could doctor them to be right on the legal sort of limits, etc. They're pretty close. We do try, to be honest, to look, and there is a reason for that. People sort of say, but haven't the CPIs got this amazing output stage on them? And yeah, they do. It's great. Problem is they don't have sufficient heat sinking to cope with that extra power that you want to make it do. And the second thing is the power supply that they run on these things. And this is a 110 volt, so we basically come in off a little ST3000. That's way too big for this thing. It doesn't need to be that big, but of course, just on the bench here, it's easy to plug into. But you'll find the CP2000 power supply. Look, it probably can easily handle around 20 odd watts, but people that are knocking them up to 30 watts, etc. You've got a real the rear of this thing is getting very, very hot when you do that, and you really got to sort of ask yourself, is this really what I want to do? But that's a bit of a look at a very clean CPI 2000. I'm just going to put an antenna in. I have no idea. Unfortunately, I haven't been listening to 11 meters today at all, so we'll have to see if anything's cooking. Okay, I can slightly hear someone in the background, but once again, if there's no skip running here, generally we're in a bit of trouble. And no, there's not too much happening here. I can't hear much at all. Sorry, the other thing to check always with your CPI radios, any of them, really, just it says 2000 or the 2500, or check your digits and make sure that you're getting absolutely 100% no digits that are missing. As I said, they're quite a pain to get out the channel selectors on these. I can get one out in about probably 20 minutes these days, but I can tell you my first one didn't go that easy. It was quite a nightmare all those years ago, learning about the joys of CPI engineering and what you learn. Anyway, there you go. All your digits working, which is good. But what you learn is that they made these things to last. They are very, very good at what they do. But yeah, there's a few tricks to to getting it right. All right, well, lovely bass. I just wish there was a little bit more on. I'll just see if Steve 177 Steve Jack Daniel's Whiskey 229. Wonder if you're about at all. 177 Steve 229 or 231 if you're about. Just see if any of the boys are about. But I've got two local lads that are a little way away, and sometimes they're about to do a test, but no, it's not looking like they're around. And they're the sort of guys that I've got to be honest. They chase DX. So if the DX is running, they're on, and if it's not, they're off. Anyway, all right. Well, that's the CPI 2000. The thing that we were looking for all day today to be aware of. Let me show you. They use a this is the 110 volt connector, and I had one of them here, and I went, Okay, that's great. And I thought, hang on, but we need two. So I just thought I was going to spend 10 minutes out in the shed, just digging up the connectors. Well, that turned out to be 7 hours out in the shed with the family sorting radios and bits, so there you go. By the way, these are the connectors for the BC series equipment too, with CPI, so they're another strange one. Alright, I'm just going to finish on these knobs, because I tell you, these knobs are so clean, I mean, there's not too many CPIs that have them that clean. As I said, I've got two of them, and yeah, it's hard to ever sort of... It sets a very high standard when you see them like this, so anyway, all good. Alright, thanks very much. Appreciate you having a look at the CPI CP2000. Certainly... very, very clean version, this one, and hopefully you've enjoyed just seeing what they do. Wish we could have had it on air with a few stations coming in, because they do have such a beautiful receiver, but unfortunately the band is not allowing us to see much at the moment. All the best, 73s to you. Thanks very much for watching the videos, and please subscribe, and we'll get a few more things up very, very soon. Cheers.